Hi, welcome to Formarte English Academy. Well, we're going to start today our unit number 15. So let's turn right away to our unit and you can go to page 94, page 94, and will be unit 15. Over there we can see that there's person speaking and reading part. So that's what we're going to be starting with in this lesson. Um, so first of all, uh, well, we can just practice a little bit of just watching these pictures that you have also in your booklet. And we just need to match these paragraphs with the pictures. So, for example, number one says, at home, I had no say in what we had for dinner. And I remember I used to complain about the food mom gave me, but now I really miss all that home cooking. Okay, so as you can see, these paragraphs they have different expressions, and that's what we're going to be practicing before really looking at the expressions. So let's see if you can maybe know the expressions and then match with the pictures. After that, what I would like for you to do is, it says here, match the phrases 1 and 7 with the definitions. So what's the meaning of have round? What's the meaning of can tell you? What's the meaning of a handful? What's the meaning of put my feet up? Or go on? Or have no say? Or chore? Okay, so it's very important for us to know these type of expressions. Maybe they're not very common for us, so that's why it's very important for us to know the meaning of them. Remember that in the platform you're going to find the answers for this, but before that, try to match this, and then please try to practice these questions. What kind of things do you and your family tend to talk about? Or among your family and friends who gets their opinion across most effectively and how. Remember that you can also send me these questions in by WhatsApp, and of course, I can give you some feedback. So let's work on this before going to the reading part, and pause the video for a moment, and we will go later on with some reading part of these, but just to practice a little bit of the reading test. So pause the video. Okay, let's continue then right away with our lesson. We're going to practice a little bit of part 5 of the reading and use of English test. Remember that that's just reading comprehension. So what I would like for you is in on page 95, you have an article that says what kids need today is disciplined. So please remember that we need to try to read this article very very quickly, right? So at least I recommend for you to read this in maybe 2.5 3 minutes the most. Okay, so you can time it, and let's see if you can do it. Try to skim it and then try to answer these questions on page 94 where it says read the article, answer these questions. Remember that everything is in order, but the last one can be anywhere, right? So that's one of the tips that you have that you already know. So let's work on this right now, and after that we're going to be doing some vocabulary part. And of course, today's grammar part is very, very important. It's about the infinitive. So you will see how that sometimes we know just one, maybe uh, part of the infinitive, but there's some other ones that maybe we forget. But let's work right now on this listening part, sorry, reading part, and we'll just pause the video for a moment and let's continue afterwards. Okay, let's continue then with our vocabulary part. And again, this vocabulary part that we're going to see today is going to be it's going to help you a lot for part 3 of the speaking test. Remember where they put like a chart and you need to interact with your partner. And so let's go right away to page 96. And well, it says here, first of all, work with a partner. Well, you can work, of course, just here with me right now. It says, what do you think about the opinions in the article on page 95? Use some of the phrases below. I don't really feel that, or in my view, what I think is that, as I see it, if you ask me the way I see it, remember that these, again, these phrases can help us a lot in our interaction part for the speaking test in part 3. Also, it says, discuss how important the things in the box are. As a child, where your priority is different, support your opinions with reasons and examples. So you can work a little bit of speaking using these vocabulary words. Remember that you can send me again that on WhatsApp, please, if you want, so that we can also give you some feedback about it. Then let's just very quick work on some tips for part 3 and 4. Remember, most of you have already done the first speaking test that we did. So now you're ready. Now I know that you're familiar with these parts. But let's just give some more tips. It says in part 3 of paper 4, the speaking test, you're given a spoken instruction and written prompts, which you use in a discussion and discussion making task. During this task, you are expected to exchange ideas, express and justify opinions, agree or disagree, suggest, evaluate, negotiate, etc. It is a good idea to have a selection of phrases already prepared which help you to do this. So this is the moment that you guys can uh, do this. I mean, practice these phrases when you agree or when you disagree, right? So you can practice these phrases. For example, if you agree, yes, I couldn't agree with you more, or that's so true, or you're absolutely right, absolutely, exactly, right? And those are if you want to agree. If you disagree, then you can say, well, I don't think so. I'm afraid I disagree. I totally disagree. Oh, I said the exact opposite. Well, not necessarily. So remember, these phrases can help us also to interrupt our partner. Remember that if the person is talking too much and then we are not, I mean, we don't get um, and we don't know how to interrupt. Well, these phrases can help us a lot. If you agree on what that person says, well, just interrupt and say, yeah, I couldn't agree with you more, and then continue with your opinion. Or if you disagree, you can also use some of these phrases. But you can work or practice with these phrases. For example, having their mother at home all day with them makes children feel more secure. And these are just examples so that we can just maybe practice a little bit of agreements or disagreements about what we are talking. And what I really want for you to do is practice the speaking part 3, with this chart, right? So it says, how important are these goals for having a happy life? So remember, you have 2 minutes to answer or to discuss this question with these different parts, right? So my recommendation, remember, of part 3 is you can please repeat the question over and over again because I don't want for you to miss the point. So in this case, if this will be the real test over here, then we can just say yes. Well, for me, it's very important getting a good education because, or it's important being wealthy because. So you can continue talking about how important are these parts. Remember that in these first 2 minutes, we're not using any superlatives or we're not discussing what's the best or what's the worst. It's just focusing on the question that we have here. Okay, so remember to do that part. So let's practice this speaking part and let's practice all this vocabulary part. And after that, we're going to go. Please take out your pencils and notebooks because we're going to see very quick how the infinitive works. Okay, so pause the video for a moment. Okay, let's continue with our lesson 15 for today. And let's go very quick now to the infinitive. Okay, this is very, very important. Again, remember that sometimes we as teachers forget about certain things. And that's what I really like about Cambridge, that they or sometimes some topics are totally new for us. So please pay attention on this part of the infinitive. Okay, the infinitive in English is the best form of the verb. Sorry, the base form of the verb. It is called the full infinitive when to is used before the verb, and the bare infinitive when there is no to. For example, we have here, I want to watch the film tonight. Well, that's the full infinitive with to. Or another way of using the infinitive, let me see the newspaper. Bare infinitive without to. So remember, there are two types of infinitives, the one that has to and the one that doesn't have to. The full infinitive is used after certain verbs. Common examples include afford, agree, appear, ask, choose, expect, help, hope, intend, prefer, pretend, promise, seem, and want. Okay, so after these verbs, commonly we just use to. For example, I ask to see the head teacher, or we expect to arrive by 8. Also, we use the full infinitive after impersonal it plus be plus adjective, where the adjective describes the event that follows. For example, it was good to see her again, right? So we have here it, verb to be, in this case, in the past tense, was the adjective good, so we use the full infinitive. Or it's always interesting to hear your views on life. Okay, so after this formula, we use the full infinitive. Also, after have plus noun. For example, I have no wish to be difficult, or we have plans to get married. Okay, so that's another formula that we need to learn on when to use to. Also, after certain verbs in the pattern verb plus someone plus to do something. Common examples include allow, ask, beg, encourage, force, persuade, or teach. So, for example, my mother persuade someone who, in this case, me, to buy a computer, right? Or also, we use full infinitive after the verbs above when we use them in the passive. For example, I was persuaded to buy a computer. So also these verbs allow, ask, beg, encourage, force, persuade, and teach. When we use these verbs in the passive, then we use the full infinitive. Um, Also, after be with the meaning of a formal instruction or information about the future. For example, you, in this case, the verb to be, you are to report here at 8 tomorrow morning. Okay, so we're talking using the verb to be, and we're using an instruction or information about the future. Also, to express purpose. For example, she's saving her money to go on a holiday. So, what's the purpose of she's saving money? Well, to go on a holiday. So, also again, to express purpose about something. Now, let's go very quick to the bare infinitive. Okay, so when do we use the bare infinitive? Well, after verbs which follow the pattern verb, someone, do something. Okay, do something. For example, well, common examples include have, let, or make. For example, I'll have the waiter bring us more water, right? So we don't say, and I've seen people writing this. So be careful, please. Okay, I've seen people saying, I'll have the waiter to bring us more water. Well, be careful on that, please. Or his father let him play football. Okay, so let's remember this rule regarding bare infinitives. Also, after modal verbs, but remember that some semi-modals contain to. For example, have to do, to do, and need to do. So you can say, we might go to Italy on holiday this year. So uh, remember, we don't use to, right, with models. or we should get some brochures, right? Again, some semi-models have already the two, so that in that way, that's why we use it with two. Okay, so this is the part of the infinitive. So let's turn again to our page, and let's go to page 97. Okay, let's turn right away to that page. Okay, and please do this part where it says the infinitive. Again, page 97. Do part one where it says look at this sentence from the article on page 95. Which verbs in bold are followed by the infinitive with to, which by the infinitive without to. Okay, so please work on that. And something that I'd really like to read to you is the corpus spot, where it says take care with infinitives and ing forms. The Cambridge English corpus shows exam candidates often make mistakes with this. So please do not hesitate to phone me should you want to know further details. Well, please do not hesitate to phone me should you want further details. Okay, so that is some information or some mistakes that some teachers do. So please read that information, and then part two is correct these sentences if necessary. Okay, so take a look at this and try to see if they're wrong or not. Okay, and if they're wrong, please try to find where is the mistake. Okay, and after that, then we're going to do the listening part. We're gonna finish with some listening parts. And over here says, well, first of all, work with a partner and discuss these questions. Do you watch more or less TV now compared to when you were a child? Or do you and your family and friends have the same taste in TV programs? So just a little bit of speaking, more speaking. And then remember, in the platform, you're going to find track 3 of Unit 15. And very important, it says, listen to 5 people giving their opinions about TV. Which programs are being talked about? 3 programs are not needed. So which of these from A to H the people are talking about? And you can just maybe just tick the ones that people talks about. Then listen again, and it says which opinions are stated. 3 opinions are not needed. Again, which stated are mentioned in this listening, and you can just tick them from A to H. And of course, we can just end up with some more speaking from 1 to 3. Okay. It's very important that in this lesson, lesson 15, you can see that in pages 98 to 99, there is a whole unit revision from 11 to 15. Please do it, okay? Because this is all practice for this test. Remember, the dates of this test are in the platform in the force model. So you can just check them there. And of course, if you want to do the test, you can talk to us and we can help you with that. Okay. So, but remember, we really want to practice more and more about this test. So there's a lot of good practice here from page 98 to page 99. So please do that. And of course, you're going to find also the answers of these parts in the platform. Okay, so I mean, there's a lot for us to do in this unit, practice. And again, if you have any questions, please let us know. And of course, you know that we are always there for you to help you. If you need extra practice for something, let us know. Okay, so for now, that will be it. And we will see you on Unit 16. Have a nice day.